What is up, everybody? We always start the show off by giving love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. Guys, I've been talking about these people a lot lately. I really think they have a lot to offer. And as I've been out of this app, I really think it is awesome and everybody can benefit from it if your CRM is not providing this for you already. Most of them don't. I know some get close, most of them are not. So definitely check this out. The only app every HVAC company needs, Company Cam, makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with your technicians no matter where you are. Company Cam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy to use app for you and your entire team. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, and even communicate and share progress with property owners with galleries and project timelines all from your smartphone. Company Cam is the only app every HVAC company needs. Check it out at companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored. You will get a free 14-day trial. Free. No strings attached. Free. Cost you nothing. No info. No nothing. Free. Try it out. See if you like it. And if you do, for being a member of the HVAC Uncensored Nation, you will get 50% off your first 2 months. So don't say I never did anything for you. All right? All right. Last but not least, guys, another one that I love. This company has been with me from the beginning. Is Yellow Jacket. I love them. I love what they stand for. I love the people there. And it's the only tools that we use, vacuum pump hoses at my company. And it's for a reason. As most of you know, I'm a second generation HVAC tech, 20 plus years in the trade, but I always think back to those days working with my dad that I cherish so much. My dad always said your tools are an extension of yourself. If you buy quality tools and take care of them, most of the time you only have to buy them once. When I think back of that brand for me is Yellow Jacket. They've been making quality products for 70 years and counting, making them right here in the USA, not sending it overseas to make it cheaper and less in quality. They do it right here in the US of A. Yellow Jacket has been trusted by my family for generations now, and we don't stop. We don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So guys, remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool. If you're looking to spend some money before summer to go get something, go to your local supply house and check out, not that tab, check out Yellow Jacket. All right, guys, let's get this pledge. I have an awesome guest tonight. I cannot wait for you guys to see. Been podcasting for 5 years, and this has been one of the bucket list people that I've wanted to interview since I've started podcasting. So I am very excited to do that. So let's rock and roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Five, four, three, two, one, go.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's not Wednesday, our normal night. That's because yesterday was my birthday. Thank God the guest was very awesome as far as being able to switch. Normally on birthdays, I don't do much, but apparently yesterday my family had other plans, so we are doing it tonight. Guys, I'm going to get right into this. I'm not going to waste any more time. If any of you have been in the industry for any period of time, you know who this man is and everything that he's done for this industry as far as training people, getting people to do things the right way, and really changing their life and how they do it is going to be the one. Hold on, let me get this button. None other than Mr. Joe Crisara. How are you, sir?
Hey, buddy, how you doing there? All right, I finally made it to this podcast. I can't tell you how much I admire this show and the group that you belong to, the group you formed, and this is definitely the most honest and high value group that's on the entire platform. So definitely, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, Gil.
Of course, Uncle Joe. Thank you. This is it's awesome to be on here. It's just I know there's a lot of things. I just want a place for technicians. I mean, granted, I've moved up in my career, but I'll always be a tech at heart. It's never going to change. So I always want to give back to those technicians and try to give them as much information as possible. But I guess for these people out there that have been living under a rock and don't know who Uncle Joe is, I guess let them know who you are and how you've been doing this forever.
Well, my name is Joe Crisara, America's Service Coach. I've been doing it for 46 years. I've been doing the HVAC business for 46 years, since 1976. And definitely, it's a pleasure to serve the hardest working people in the entire planet. People who crawl in those crawl spaces, those attics, dropping big gulps on their lap when they're between calls because they're driving so fast to the next call. Guys, let me just say what an honor it is to be here with all of you. And definitely, I have gone through every single thing wrong for the first 24 years I've done this. And the next 24 years, 22 years, I've done it right. So I have a lot of empathy, and I also have a lot of information that can help you avoid some of the disasters that I went through. Does that make sense? But I'll tell you one thing: all these disasters that happened, Gil, those are the things that form our character. Those are the things that build the cornerstone of the determination of the HVAC tech who doesn't quit when faced with a challenge. That's really it.
Yeah, and I always say on here, Uncle Joe, that I feel like there's a lot of good technicians out there that, I think they have the right mindset. Like they want to be that honest guy. They want to, they don't want to do more than they have to, that, just changing that capacitor and leaving is the right thing. But when you find out like programs like yours and being taught like the accountability factor and to be able to actually offer solutions to a customer, that the technician makes more money and the customers are so much happier when you do a complete job. And I feel like a lot of guys out there, they need to have that aha moment to wake up to it.
Well, I agree with you, but it's, ironically, technicians in this business who focus on money, it's the wrong thing to focus on. Truthfully, if you focused on quality and reliability of the job, so instead of just doing the capacitor, wouldn't it be a higher quality to also take a look at that 12-year-old contactor and say, hey, let's go ahead and update that while we're here, and look at the conductors? Look at there's no hard start kit on this thing. Maybe there's only a single pole contactor. Wouldn't it be a higher quality to at least show people some options to be able to choose from? And really, the biggest thing is focus on being a window that doesn't just talk about better ways of doing things. Write down the premium, mid-range, and economy way of doing it, and let the client choose. It's really not, us, our job to get in the way of those things. But sometimes we feel like we're intruding or trying to upsell people. Truthfully, I hate that word upsell. I feel like you see the best way to do something, the mid-range way, and the way you normally do it, which is the economy way. And we just let the people have access to all those ways and just say, hey, here's the prices, here's the best way, the more permanent, here's the professional way in the middle, and here's the economy way at the bottom. And what should we do are my famous words that we've coined. We trademarked those words. We've lent them to other people, and yeah, we're proud to have those words and just say, what should we do? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's funny whenever I hear somebody say that. What should we do? Everybody always thinks of you because that's definitely your phrase. So I guess when you're out there helping, I know you've helped countless companies and helping different people. I guess what is the biggest hurdle that you have to get over at some of these places? I mean, do they learn your program simple? Is it hard to get them to, can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing, or is it all the same?
We
It's
know
just
the biggest challenge is how people were conditioned from their early childhood to try to always cut back or save things or do it themselves, right? Because uh, truthfully, we're not in the do-it-yourself business. We're in the do-it-for-you business. And so it's ironic that we would do everything ourselves for our family, try to find a less expensive way to do things, as opposed to saying, you know what, uh, let me try the more quality way of doing things. It's ironic that the guy would bitch about the client trying to do it cheap, yet he himself is also cheap. Does that make sense? So
Yep.
really, it's the mindset of the technician, which is a scarcity mindset sometimes, thinking that everybody wants to, do things for less money. Truthfully, only 11% of the population really want to go truly the cheapest. There are people who will upgrade. 89% will upgrade when given choices. It's our job to be able to provide those choices in writing so the client can have equal access to the information, I always say. So if you do that, ironically, you don't have to work any harder. It's just show people what you got. Here's the premium way when we do rebuild the whole electrical system. If you were going to buy tires for a car, you wouldn't just buy one tire or get a patch every time. You would say, hey, let me get all 4 tires, and I might as well get a good set because I'm going to be going to California or something like that. I might as well, I'm going to use it for a road trip to Colorado or something like that. Let me go ahead and get a good set of tires that's going to last longer. We always ourselves, when it comes to hunting gear, fishing gear, we always go better because we know it lasts longer. Tools, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why Yellow Jacket is the best because it's not the cheapest. It is. It's got a good economic balance point. It's a professional grade that has been known for years, and they stand behind their product. And that's one of the reasons why that sponsor is such a great sponsor. I believe in that sponsor too because they have their own choices that they provide. They don't just say here's the only thing we have. They have different grades of different things they have as well. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, something as simple as a vacuum pump. You can get the cheapo, the mid grade, the high end. So, yeah, I totally understand that, and I know I talk about these things on this show a lot, and I don't want the technicians listening to be like, oh, Gills, talks about sales too much, and to all of you out there listening. Well, first of all, hi to everybody in the chats. What's up? Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you guys. Um, so guys, I don't want you to think that I'm talking about sales and really kind of like Uncle Joe just said it. I want you guys to be thorough because in a nutshell, if you guys are most of the way these companies, the way people are paid, if you are more thorough and you provide options, you give more value to the customer, you do a better job, you can do less calls, making more revenue for your company. Maybe you get a few spiffs the way your company pays you on different things. So you're already doing the same thing and you can benefit yourself. You can be better financially for doing the same job that you were already doing. Less calls, maybe you're home for dinner, you're not working till, you know, 9 o'clock at night. Because what happens is you have like our guys that work for us, I want them to run 4 or 5 calls. They're home for dinner rather than running, you know, 10 calls and making the same amount of money. They're tired, they hate their job. That's what I want you guys to know. People like Uncle Joe and stuff like that, these programs that they offer and the stuff that they instill, it's life changing. So that's what I want you guys to realize that's what I'm trying to get through to you. That you guys that are the best technical guys, guess what? You can build the best options because you're going to see something that guy that's less technical, he may not even know what the hell you're talking about. So I try to get that through to a lot of technicians that I want all these guys to make $200,000 a year the honest way. I hate seeing good guys out there not getting paid what they're worth, but on the other side, I think some of it is their mindset.
I think this industry, the streets are littered with fine HVAC service technicians who never learned how to communicate value. And so we're not talking about selling. You have to perform an action that lets the customer sell themselves. Does that make sense? We can never sell anybody. I mean, you try to sell or push people into things, you're going to wind up having that blow up in your face pretty quickly. And there's certain personalities that can get away with that, but that's not for everybody. It's probably about 5% of the people who are pushy that get away with being pushy, right? And for people like you and I, all of you out there, I'm not wired that way. I'm not wired to. I just don't have that. I have too much. I get sick in my stomach trying to even
Yeah.
think about doing that. Right. So, but what I do want to tell you is that if you don't have the ability to communicate value, that's what you got to work. You put all this effort into being the best HVAC tech you can, superheats, subcooling, non-condensables, airflow, CFM per ton, duct leakage. So much is happening right now that this industry's never been better than it. I just love this industry right now more than I've ever loved it because all the things I've always worked on and always have said we should do are now being done, and I just love that. But we have to learn how to communicate it in a way that is meaningful to the customer, creates value, in a way that makes us feel good so we can go look in the mirror every day and still look like what we see there, right? And yet the customer is allowed access to that information as opposed to it's a service. This, the first service I say we provide is letting the customer make that choice instead of us for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Uh, we can decide that where the thing is broken or leaking or electrical faults or whatever we have in the system, but the client should be the one to decide uh, what type of investment they want to make into this in terms of more premium that'll last longer, something that'll last decent, and something that'll just be today's fix, right? And a capacitor, like even like condensate drains, they don't just go. If you think about it, think about this: condensate drain clogs are impossible. I mean, because what is condensate? It's clear water that comes from the humidity in the air with no contaminants in it. You could literally drink condensate water on a clean coil and just drink that water. It would be actually healthy. It wouldn't harm you. But what clogs up the drain? It's the air duct leakage with the fiberglass and stuff from the attic coming into it that's loaded onto the blower motor that now loads itself onto the coil. And now that stuff drips into the drain and that's clogging it up. So sometimes we go out there and we blow out a condensate drain, not realizing that the source was the coil is packed with crap. Or can I just say shit on this call? I
You can
guess I
say
can say that,
shit.
right?
Yeah.
It's fucking shit. It's fucking loaded with shit.
That's great.
It's uncensored. I can say anything I want.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
right? Just stop me if I go too far.
No, you're good.
Anyway, so it's loaded with shit, and now we're blowing it out saying, yeah, we solved the problem. Truthfully, we didn't solve the problem. Most likely, we should do duct sealing on the return, duct sizing, and really that coil is probably packed up, and even the biological growth is in the plenum because it's so clogged up that there's like an 8-inch hole in the middle of the coil, which is actually letting air get through. And think of the velocity that's spewing water out of that hole. That's why a condensate drain clogs. So it's like, if I got a condensate drain clog, most likely I'm going to say, let's seal the ductwork for the premium option. Let's clean the coil because there should never be anything leaving the condensate drain that would clog it up. I mean, you could run a thing for 50 years with clear water; it would never clog it up, right?
Yeah.
It's only the stuff that's in the air that's contaminants that are in that coil. So we should be cleaning the coil, sealing the ductwork, putting a better media filter in, and guess what? I'll blow that fucking drain out for free. You don't got to worry about charging anybody. It's like, just use my CO2. That's included for free, no charge. Does that make sense there, guys?
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
the premium way of doing it. And the mid-range way, just put a media filter and clean the coil. And then the bottom way is just blow it out like you're doing now. Let them see all the choices like that. Make sense?
oh God, it makes so much sense. And to be honest, like I always tell everybody, I used to be that guy. I was that guy that I thought, when you go up to the house and the customer comes out and he goes, "Oh, the problem's outside, Gil. It's outside." They don't even want to let you in the house. And when you're not confident or you just kind of roll with the punches, you go outside, you change that capacitor, you leave, and then you never even go inside. 2 days later, the customer calls back, "I got water on the floor. Your guy Gil was just out here," and customers value their time. That's what they value. They don't want to take off work every other day, whether they work from home or not. They don't want to. And I hate to say this, I don't care how much they like you, because I had some customers that love me, but they don't want to see me every fucking day. They don't want to see me every other week. If they see me twice a year for that maintenance, keep it running. They're happy. That's all they want to see me. So, guys, being thorough is the name of the game. So, all of you out there that when I hear people say, like, man, I ran 15 calls today. Well, I'm just being honest. Don't take any offense to this. You didn't run 15 good calls, and your customers didn't get what they paid for. They didn't get what they deserve. That's just being honest because it's not physically possible to run 15 calls in a day and do right by the customer. That's just the God's honest truth. There's no way.
I mean, if you're an Uber driver of HVAC, I guess you could, because that's dropping off the food and leaving, because that's about all you could do 15 times, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like if you were driving, if you're an Uber driver for food or Uber Eats or whatever, or DoorDash, you probably wouldn't be able to make 15 deliveries in a day. How are you supposed to fix quality of 15 or 8 air conditioning systems in a day, looking at the airflow, the duct leakage, the static pressure, the refrigerant levels, the superheat, subcooling, and everything that makes this work, right? I mean, you're you're cutting corners on something. And so to me, I always tell people, if you're doing that many calls, you're a disgrace to your family because you're putting your family second to the customer's family. I think we're at least equal. I'm not saying we should be better or worse, but aren't we at least equal? My family is just as important as your family. So our family's taking a hit financially because I'm doing this kind of thing. I'm working late. They're not having access to me. I'm not really not making much more money. Secondly, the team is suffering because now they got to apologize for that callback that we're most likely going to have with probably 3 or 4 of those calls. And then, you know, really the industry makes fun of it, like, oh my God, who's this hack? And it's a disgrace to the industry too. It makes all HVAC techs look like they don't know what they're doing, and makes customers lose customer confidence in the ability for us to do our job correct. That's what I
Yeah.
look at it like. So it's very serious actually, but I don't after all the years I've been doing this, that's why I do realize the gravity of it and how many careers have been killed over that weakness. Make sense?
Yeah. And I feel like, a lot of people, we got brainwashed in this industry that, you have to work your balls off in the summertime, 7 in the morning till midnight. And in the odd season, or shoulder seasons or whatever the hell they call it now. I never heard of the shoulder season until like the last 3 years. But anyway,
Right.
you're going to work slower in that time and really busy in the wintertime. And that's not necessarily true. Yes, we have to deal with the elements, but, think about these young kids that we're trying to get to come into our industry. And, the older generation is retiring off faster than people are coming in. This can be a job that you can make great money, that you can go out there and serve people, and you can be home by 5, 6 o'clock and not work late. And I feel like too many people think that the only way you can do that is being some, you know, lying, cheating sales, a liar, cheating sales guy. So I just want you guys to know that being thorough and being one of those people it's not the same. And I'll be honest, do those people exist in our industry? Yeah, we all know that they're out there, but I don't think there's as many of them as you think, though. I think a lot of guys just they get lumped into that category because people are it's their ignorance.
I think honesty is a big subject, and truthfully, there are people intentionally dishonest, and I think that's maybe 5%, 6% of the population, maybe 7%. But I think there are people who are dishonest. The majority of us are dishonest because we lie of omission. We don't tell people things that we know are true because we don't want to get them upset, or we don't want to. We want to save their feelings in a way, so we don't want to be unpopular. Well, let me just tell you something, Gil. You get into this business, the HVAC business, for a popularity contest, you got in the wrong fucking business. That's all I could tell you. You should
Yeah.
not be in this business if you're trying to win a popularity contest. This is not a beauty pageant. This is not trying to make yourself popular. You got to shoot straight with people and let them know that, hey, this airflow is restricted by 38%. This ductwork, you're breathing fiberglass in your home. And we have ways of fixing. I have made a premium, mid-range, economy way of fixing that, and that's what we're going to show you if you want to see it. And that's all there is to it. Let the customer make the choice. So instead of saying, I got to push this on people, make the choices, ask the customer if they'd like to see it after you tell them the problems. 100% of the people are going to say, yes, I want to see it. And then let them make the choice. Say, well, here's the choices. What should we do? If the customer's like, oh, that's a lot to think about. So I'm going to stay here as long as you need me. I want to make sure I help you with this. So what should we do? I think we can't always have confidence like I have. I have a lot of confidence, right? Because I had a lot of years I've got burned, and a lot of years I've, been successful. But we can be confident in the things we stand for, right? Quality, reliability, safety, health, and then to serve people is really the highest honor. That's what I can stand on that rock. So in my heart, if that's my motivation, which I call pure motives, then we're clean. I'm only telling you because I want to make sure the system is a high quality for your daughter, Emily, because you told me she has asthma. I want to make sure we should take care of this system. That's why I did this for you. If you could just articulate the reason why you're doing it and the people you're trying to do it for, you're going to feel better and the customer's going to feel better. Does that make sense, Gil?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, I started out doing all commercial industrial stuff, kitchen equipment, refrigeration, kind of just backed my way into residential. But for the reasons that you just said, that, I've always had that servant mentality that I love to help other people, to feel like I serve them and make them happy. To be honest, I do that to a fault. Sometimes it turns out to be bad because I'm too nice sometimes. But um, that's why I loved this, because when I go out there and I really, like, yeah, it's great when, your boss is like, hey, Gil, you made money, way to go. Like, that's good. But when I leave there and I have a mother hugging me saying, like, you know, I didn't know we could solve this problem, Gil. Like, I didn't know that my daughter could be in the house and not have to use her inhaler anymore because we were able to put some IAQ or clean the ductwork or something. And some people are like, oh, Gil, that's dramatic, blah, blah, blah. But it's real. That stuff really happens, where what we do can literally change people's lives, and they don't even know if we don't say something to them. And I love that stuff. I love it. So, and people, and when you love it like that and you're a nerd with it and you talk to people, customers will feel that passion when it comes across. I can't tell you how many customers have told me that when I've said something like, I like high SEER equipment. I give customers all the options. I don't try to force them, but they're like, what do you have in your house? And I'm like, well, I do have I have an inverter system in my house. And they're like, yeah, I could tell by the way you were talking about it. So it just, yeah.
Yeah, because the higher efficiency equipment has way more benefits than just efficiency. It's heavier duty, it's quieter, it's probably got for just efficiency, it's probably got 10 other things that it does that are way better than just the money you're saving on utilities. So don't put all your ideas on the fact that inverter stuff is only about saving money on utilities. It's about a lot more than that, because comfort is not money. Comfort is what the inverter does, really,
Yeah.
and that's really why it's the best, regardless of how much it costs. So if those who stand in the way of it because they're afraid the customer might get upset because it costs too much, uh, it's it's a very socialistic endeavor to do that. I'm going to shield the population from the good stuff because the government can only afford this cheese. I mean, what the hell is that? I thought we were conservatives. I thought most of the people in this business are conservatives. That's the ironic part. Most of these people are as conservative as can possibly be. But when it comes to their customer, they're like a socialist. Like, oh, let me just give them the one repair because that's all they can afford. And, you're metering out the solutions. To me, that's the lie. The lie is of omission, that there's something better we could have done and we didn't do it. Does that make sense? And uh, for everybody who says something like that, there's this 5% that are dishonest. There's probably 95% or 90%, 80% who are dishonest in a different way. They're dishonest because they know there's something that could be done, but they don't want to get into it to upset people again. And again, this is not a popularity contest. It's something we got to just say, let you shoot straight, let people have the facts. Here's the prices at the same time. And you make your choice. We can do anything you want, including nothing. It's up to you.
Yeah, and I know there's been two camps. Not to get off too far off topic here, um, but I've heard a conversation where people say, the high efficient stuff, or they say it's better to offer a customer, at least I know in California, like a lot of people can change the ductwork because it's up in an attic. It's a lot of flex. Here on the East Coast, it's in walls, so we have to do a lot of duct modifications. We can't always change all the ductwork. We, try to look at static pressure and get all that stuff good, add a return or something. But I heard an argument in one of the groups where people are saying, I would rather offer my customer, um, a 16 SEER system with new ductwork than to just offer them a high end system, because I feel like the 16 SEER with ductwork will be better for them in the long run. And not saying that I agree with either or. It was just funny hearing the conversation of people going back and forth to defend
I'll
themselves.
tell you what I believe in 100%. If I was out there giving air conditioning estimates or somebody who asked me for that, if I saw the ductwork was leaking and undersized, and if we're trying to put 4 tons of cooling in with 730 CFM or something like that on the return duct, I'd say, well, here's what my bottom option is to fix the ductwork. Forget the air conditioning. Let's make the current air conditioning unit work better by fixing that ductwork. I completely believe in that. I believe that uh, if I don't do anything here, let's just fix that ductwork, and then let's make this system suitable so it now can deserve a 2022 air conditioning unit, because it's like taking a test. I just got, by the way, I just got a Tesla yesterday. I just got one delivered. Took a year and a half to wait for it. Do you believe that? That's bad customer service, but I still waited because the only company that has that kind of car that I wanted, right? So I waited a year and a half for this crappy thing, but it's actually works really, it's really cool. But here's the thing about it: when I got it, it was like I waited for it because it was like, you know what? I wanted to get the best, and that kind of a car I'm looking for. I want to get the best. But truthfully, if you're going to do duct work, I'd say no matter what, ask yourself this: are we going to either fix the current ductwork by cleaning it, sealing it, and making it bigger, or smaller sometimes, the right correct reducers or fittings and things like that, or are we going to replace it completely? Because it's possible to do that too. And the third thing, could we eliminate it? Maybe we just do ductless on the second floor and use the heat as a back. You'll use the heat for a backup system if you want to on that situation. So we either have to eliminate the ductwork, replace it completely and make it ours, or modify it like you're saying. But to put air conditioning systems in without addressing it, if you're an air conditioning technician who's doing that or selling air conditioning systems on your service calls, you're not addressing those things, then you are literally just a parts changer. That is what I would feel about it. Because putting a 4 ton, 1600 CFM unit in with 700 CFM is just malpractice.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I made this comment on a podcast a while back that I had, you know, I know that, a good friend of mine, Nate, who I really respect, he has Nate Adams has the HVAC 2.0 group. I had a job that I didn't do because the lady wanted an inverter system, and it was not going to work on her existing ductwork. And I told her, I said, ma'am, I don't want to sell you the system without doing the ductwork because I know it's not going to work, and I don't want to do that to you. Well, she ended up buying that system from somebody else. She's like, oh, well, the other guy said he would do it. And I was like, yeah, I bet he would. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that you're going to pay this amount of money and you're never going to get the features that you deserve. Well, she ended up calling me back. Pretty much my point got proved. She was like, I got to change the ductwork. Um, and, Nate was like, well, you should have done the job, but signed off and said, let her sign off and say, you know, you should have done this. You're not doing it. It's your decision. And I get that camp. I can't do it though, and I know it's money but it's not about money. I can't knowingly do something that's wrong no matter who signs off on it. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the fucking president signs off. If I know it's not right, I don't want to do it.
All the money in the world can't buy back your reputation. That's all I can tell you. That makes sense. So that's something
Yeah.
that once you lose that, you lose it. Make sense?
Yeah, no, of course. That definitely makes sense. Um, I guess so. I know normally it's just companies, coming to you. So you don't have a lot of like individual technicians reaching out, right? It has to be like a company wide kind of thing.
No, no, we have on Service MVP. It's like $35 a month that anybody could join and become part of it and get the lessons we do there. So, and then on top of it, you see me on Facebook. I pretty much own Facebook. So, anytime somebody has a question, I'm Johnny on the spot. And I always say this: people are like, Joe, how do you give out so much free information? The truth is, for everything I give you, there's 10,000 other things that I haven't given you yet. And I would actually, if I had time, I would give that to you too, because truthfully, I would tell you the real truth here is that I would do this for free because I love it so much. I love HVAC. I love my job, what I do. And if I could afford to do it for free, most likely I would. Unfortunately, there is a obligation financially to my family and my housing and my car. Now
Yeah.
with my new car, I got to make sure I pay for that too. So if I didn't have those things, but truthfully, those things, I think my advice to guys is this: stretch yourself to do more for yourself and your family, and want more, because that's the secret. People who settle for less, they're going to settle in their career too. Like, oh, that's as much as I can ever make. Don't pin yourself down to that. Just say, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can. See what happens from here, and stop profiling yourself. Actually, because that's really what the big problem is in this business. A lot of people profile the normalcy of how much something should cost. Truthfully, there is no normal. Everybody's got a different cost of doing business. And one thing I can tell you is that if you had 10 service technicians who even learned my program, you'd have 10 different option sheets. There's no way anybody would have the same one, because every doctor is different, every HVAC guy is different. You're going to have slightly different diagnoses from different people, because we're all humans and we have different levels of experience and different levels of determination to do it right. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And and I agree, and that's what I want people to know out there. That and I always try to I feel like if you put positivity out in the world, you get positivity back. And I know a lot of the when it gets into the trades, you get a lot of the dick measuring contest in the groups, and I know more than you, and blah blah. And even with different trainers, and some of them, when they fight back and forth, God love them. I'm friends with most of them, but it's just I just feel like if you people out there, if you believe in your stuff, you stay positive and you stay hungry, it's amazing what this trade HVAC as a path, or well, I guess not the path, the vessel, what it can do for you in your life. Um, I told people, I mean, 15 years ago, almost 20, I was a drug addict moron, and I never thought that I would ever be where I am today. And I really put my head down, stayed in HVAC, and just figured, hey, I want to be the best at it, which there is no being the best, but that was my mentality. And that's how I'm able to be able to do the things I am today. And I know that if I could do it, everybody, all these other people can do it. I know it for a fact. I'm nobody special. I mean, so
My dad, I mean, it was funny when you did the Pledge of Allegiance before the show. I have a special place in my heart for our country, because my dad was a Marine. He served in the Korean War. And I grew up as a Marine, a son of a Marine, which is, we didn't get many breaks from him. He was definitely pretty hard on me. But I will tell you that 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 still, I still consider myself a Marine Corps family, even though I never joined the Marines myself. And and definitely one of the most things he was most proud of before he passed away, he told me, was that I've helped so many people change their lives with the HVAC business and the health of the people that I work with. And he said there's one of the things he's most proudest that I achieved. So definitely I can see how it's affected your life, Gil. And it's affected so many of us for the positive. And really, if I do meet somebody smarter than me, I'm excited because I'm willing to learn. I can't wait to learn from somebody smarter than me. I want to know what they know immediately, right? So I don't look at it like somebody's smarter than you and you can't achieve that. Look at it like that guy says he's smarter than me. Let me learn how, so I can be be as smart as he apparently is. Let's figure it out and see if he is or not. And don't worry about the negativity of maybe somebody's honking their own horn too hard or whatever. Just like, sometimes you got to ride the wave and see what you can pick up from somebody.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're a whole Marine Corps family, my whole family. So trust me, I know how that goes. Um,
Semper Fi, right?
yes, sir. Um, Hoorah. And sorry, I lost myself there for a second. Jesus, I said
I threw
that
you
and
off. I got you.
yeah, forgot what I was saying there. Yeah, and the other thing that I was gonna say is I know that when I was getting in the trade, the older, like, we all had that older technician that showed us the ropes. That was that older, smarter guy that we could learn from. Well, some of you out there, you may be that guy now. Like, don't be afraid to teach the young guys. Like, I hear a lot of guys are like, I don't want to show somebody else. I don't want them to take my job. And that is, we have more than enough work that no one's going to take our job. So help each other, give back to it. Like, that's what I say when I do this podcast and I give back. I don't know everything, but I love to learn things, meeting people like Uncle Joe and other people and learning things. It helps make me better. That's why I love to do it. I love to learn. There's so much to learn. You can never stop learning in this trade. I mean, you've been in the business how long now? You said 40 something
For
years?
46 years.
Yeah. And it's still always something changing that you got to pick up or learn.
Right. You're crazy. It's always, every single day I learn more. And I always tell every class I teach, uh, the best way to learn is to endeavor to teach what you know, because then you got to get your shit together before you teach it. Right. Like, you can fool yourself and play games with the way you do things yourself, but you got to teach somebody else. It's a different responsibility. And it makes a higher level of learning that you have to get your shit together before you start teaching. And that's something I think that I tell everybody: when you learn whatever I teach it to somebody else, and then you'll learn it better. Because the more you say it, the more it gets locked into our inner core, our memories, and our things like that become solid. People say I have a memory like a trap. It's not that I have a memory like a trap. I just do the same things that are excellent over and over again, so it gets stuck in my head, and I don't let it get out anymore. Make sense? And this repetition of doing things the right way, that's really what you have to commit yourself to. And when somebody tells you do it the wrong way, you got to say, I'd just rather not participate in the wrong way. Just tell the person, whoever it is, even if it's your boss, hey, why don't you piece together those old line sets in the back? Nah, I think I'm just going to not participate in the wrong way. Let's just do it the right way this time. What do you think? All right.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody talk you out of the right way. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And it's man, my brain farts
Well, I'll
tonight.
tell you one thing though. If we're worried about losing your job, there's never been a better time to find a job in this business. So if you're, here's the job applications for HVAC tech. Put a mirror under their nose and see if they're breathing. And if they are, you're hired. You're pretty much hired.
Yeah, I mean, you have people coming in now that don't know anything about the trade. They're just good people. Because I always say you can't teach somebody to be a good person, and you can't teach somebody to not be a shitbag. You can always teach them HVAC and how to do something. Um, oh, that's what I was gonna say. What you said about the teaching and really knowing it, I agree 100%. Um, I remember hearing Jim Bergman say, you don't really know something until you have to teach it to somebody else. That's what I was thinking about when you made that statement, which
That's a
is
really
true.
good. That's a really good statement. That's very. I might borrow that one a few times.
Yeah, and I always say it because now with our team and I do, running the operations side of the company, the training and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's really helped me. Like, I've always known, like, refrigeration cycle and electricity and sequence of operations and all those little things, but when I had to put it together in a way that I could show it to our team, it really hit me. Like you said, you say it more often and stuff like that. Which we've had so many things going on and different meetings that we are still interested in what um, what you're doing with Service MVP.
This wasn't a sales call, Gil, but what should
Yeah,
we do?
yeah, exactly, right. Well, I guess before we forget to say this, all these technicians or business owners, if they're interested in learning from you, how can they go about doing that? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, really, you just go on Facebook, go on Messenger, find me on Facebook, and if you're here, you can go. You can just look up Joe Crisara. If you want to ask who's the best, my name comes up 9 times out of 10, so that'll be It's not me who say that, it's my clients who say it. I never brag about myself, but my clients do. But if you just messenger me, probably the fastest route to get to me. Otherwise, you can go to Service MVP or contractorselling.com and go to one of those two sites and you'll be able to get a hold. But really, here on Facebook, just messenger me and you're definitely more than happy to take your call. If you want to email me, it's joe@servicemvp.com, and I'd be happy to help anybody. Truthfully, the way I help people, my method of working is to help you first use the stuff I teach to make more money, so then you can afford to hire me. Does that make sense? I never ask for $1 before somebody got value from what I teach. I make sure you get value first, and then we say, well, would you like to get more value or stay where you're at right now? Make sense?
Yeah, well, and one thing I love that, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your with your ass, Uncle Joe, because you're here, but I have literally I've never heard anybody that I've ever talked to about you ever say anything bad, and that's the God's honest truth. And I have a big mouth, and I talk to all kind of people from this podcast. Everybody has always talked about you with the utmost respect. They've never said anything negative. They've all said that your trading is honest, and they're like, the shit works. Like he knows what he's talking about. He teaches you honest ways. And I'm just gonna be honest, and this isn't to shit on anybody else that does training. I haven't had that with them. Not saying there hasn't been more positive than negative, but there's always been some negative, and I literally have never had one person tell me anything negative about you. And that's
Well,
the truth.
it's a high honor. Thank you so much. And I definitely try very hard to provide the ring of truth and, the science of communication, the science of connection, the science of creating value, and the science of pricing. You put those things together, just like the science of refrigeration or heat transfer or airflow. When you use them, they always work. And it's how, but here's the thing about science. You can use it for evil to like electricity is a science, right? You can use it to electrocute people in an electric chair. It's not evil, but I guess it's could be used to kill people. Or you can use electricity to power a human heart and lung machine, and that would save somebody's life. So electricity is stupid. It doesn't realize how it's being used. Just like the things that I teach, those things are just neutral. The motivation to use it is what's in your heart. If you're using it to chase money, then it's going to come off greedy. It's going to come off slimy. Using it to increase the quality, reliability, and safety and health of your client and do world-class customer service to anticipate people's needs before they need you next time, that's where the pure motives, that's the fat part of the bat, where we can look ourselves in the mirror, we can offer people these choices and feel like we're doing it as a service, not for our own benefit. The ironic thing is that when we do that, we do benefit greatly. Like I'm a great example of benefiting financially from everything I do and everything I teach. I'm always surprised that people will be willing to pay me for what I do. It's like I'm happy too. Don't get me wrong, but I'm always honored and surprised when somebody invests in me, because when they invest in me, I'm undefeated in creating value. And I think everybody here in HVAC is the same way. We don't want anybody to give us money unless they feel they got more than they paid us for. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be honest, and I'm not saying that I feel this way, and I always want to see people be successful. If you're out there, you're helping somebody and that person is taking whatever you're giving them and being successful, then so be it. But I know when I feel like the market that you're in is getting so saturated now that a lot of normal Joes out there don't know where to turn. And that's what a lot of people have said to me. They're like, yo, there's so many people out there now that I don't know which one to go, because you scroll in these Facebook groups and every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a trainer now. So it's like,
Well, it's the way I look at it is that, it's like from my end of the spectrum, I'm actually happy that there's more people who are trying to do this, because it kind of helps the future of the industry. If I really worry about the industry, which is the bedrock of what supports me, then I'm happy that other people are endeavoring to get there. And even if they're not quite there when they're younger, because they don't have the maybe empathy or what they need in a more mature level, they're going to get there. They're going to learn. They're going to hit that wall, and they're going to learn, and they're going to get better. So even those younger guys or people like Jason Walker and these other people that are out there, I admire what they're doing, even if I don't completely agree with every single thing they do, because I know that they're at their age. They're smarter than I was at that age, number one, and that they're going to learn the things I learned eventually and get down to this. So all roads lead here to what I know eventually, because that's what they're going to know eventually too, right? And so I'm honored that there's more people, because actually, if you own a baseball team, you're just happy there's more people playing baseball, right? And that's what I'm happy about, that there's more people who are interested in learning. And if you're interested in learning, I feel like I've got a great advantage in that area, and I'm happy because I'm happy to help people and happy to serve people. So I always feel like all roads lead to my level of knowledge eventually, but sometimes it make a few wrong turns to get there. But it's the way it is. So I think it's great that there are these younger people out there doing things like this, and even some of the older guys are trying to get better too at this. I think that's great, because the more people who are doing it, the better that they're going to get.
That makes sense, and that's a good side of it. I never thought about it that way, but that 100% makes sense. And that's the same way I feel. I mean, obviously I'm not a trainer, but you know, if they're out there helping people, and like Jason Walker is a friend of mine. I know he's out there doing good, and I've talked to people that have used him, and they're like, "Dude, after Jason left, we implemented what he taught us, and we're tearing it up." That's a positive thing. There's no way to spin that into a negative, So if somebody's out there helping somebody, whether now in the day and age of social media, it's like, oh, I don't know if I like that person. Well, I'm not asking you to date them. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't, maybe a personality, like some people listen to the podcast, they don't necessarily have to like me personally. It's about the message and the information given. So yeah, that was a cool. I'm glad to hear the way you thought of that, because I was curious to how somebody who's been doing it for a long time thought about all of the
Yeah,
different
I'm
things.
really I'm happy because of the future of the business industry. Because if I really care about what has supported me, which is the HVAC industry, then I would have to care about its future. And these guys will be here way after I'm gone, probably. And so I'm happy that they are moving that direction, and they're going to learn the things that I learned and the mistakes I made. And unfortunately, some clients may be part of those mistakes, but I'm very sure that the character of some of the people here there's very few people who don't have the character to stand up behind what they do, to make sure that they are going to make good on their promises to whoever they're doing it to. I haven't seen too many people out there who I thought were out and out ripping people off per se. I just think that there's some misguided methods that they haven't quite learned yet, all the ins and outs of this. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. One of the guys in the chat said he's no Facebook. Hey Kraus, so you can also go. So contractorselling.com and Service MVP are both Uncle Joe. He Contractor Selling is soon to be Service MVP, so you can go to his website too if you don't have Facebook. Go to
Or if you want to just
servicemvp.com.
call me, everybody, here's my cell phone number. It's 847-833-7912. 847-833-7912. Just text me. You got a
Here,
phone?
here, I'm gonna write it down real fast too. Give it again, Uncle Joe.
847-833-7912.
Sorry, 7922
7912.
12.
847-833-7912.
Got
You
it.
can edit a lot of those out if you want to.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And that's another thing right there, guys. How many other people that do what Uncle Joe does would give his cell phone number out in the middle of a podcast? I mean, and not to brag, but thousands of people listen to this. We get anywhere from 25 to 30,000 downloads per episode. That's 25,000 to 30,000 people that hear that. I mean, and to be honest, I have a podcast phone because I wouldn't give out my personal number sometimes. So that's just, I don't know. To me, that's part of the thing that sticks out about Uncle Joe, that you're willing to do that. And even when I message, like last night, if some of you came in late, I do the podcast on Wednesdays. Well, yesterday was my birthday. Um, And I was excited about interviewing Uncle Joe because I've wanted to do this forever. And it didn't matter that it was my birthday. But when I reach out and it's not just a secretary, like he answers, like you actually talk to him, like that means a lot. Because a lot of these other people, when you reach out to them, you don't talk to them. You're talking to a secretary, you know? So it means a lot when you actually talk to the person.
Well, we are all, everybody in this business, in the HVAC industry, is only as strong as the people we're connected to. So that's what is going to make you great in your career. The more people you're connected to, the more advice you're going to be given. Have an open mind and listen to that advice from both your clients, coworkers, your owner, your family. They're all giving you feedback, and you'd be smart to listen to them and keep that phone line open. That was a good advice. I would definitely recommend that. And don't shut that off and let some handler get in the way of it ever. I don't really feel that's maybe. I mean, I'm not super famous like a movie star famous, I guess I would probably maybe forward the calls if I do forward the calls if I am doing a training or something like that, and then I go back to my voicemail and listen to them. But definitely, if you text me, most likely in about 20-30 minutes, I usually get back and let you know what I can do to help you. But thanks everybody, Gil. Thanks so much for being such a great host, and definitely all your sponsors. I definitely believe in all your sponsors as well, and I'm happy that they're supporting you and supporting this podcast, and definitely I support the podcast as well. And I think anybody who's in the HVAC industry should be part of HVAC Uncensored, and the information here is just priceless. So I recommend that to anybody.
That's awesome. Thank you, Uncle Joe. And like I said, it has been an honor because I've always looked at the different things and trainings, and you were always one that I never knew, but I would watch you on YouTube and I'd see you on other podcasts, and I was like, man, I hope I get to interview him one day. And when it came up, and the fact that it was going to be on my birthday really meant a lot. So I'm very grateful for this to happen. I really do appreciate you coming on here.
Well, happy birthday, brother. I definitely happy to be here after you're just one more day older and one more year older, and makes me feel good that you're just a little bit more mature to interview me. So that was really great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
still no more hair, but I'm a little bit older. But yeah, we'll start ending this because I think there's a bad storm here. I can hear it outside of the studio, so I don't want
Mhm.
this thing to cut out um midway. But like I said, thank you so much for coming on, Uncle Joe. I appreciate what you do for the industry, what you've done for the industry, and what you continue to do for it. And please know that you are. I know you don't need my publicity, but if you would ever want to come back on, you're more than welcome. Honored to have you on here whenever you'd like to come on or whatever it is. Yeah, I'd love to have you here. So
Well, I look forward to being back. It's definitely been an honor to be here. I'm on HVAC Uncensored, the group all the time, monitoring and helping whenever I can. So definitely, it's an honor to be here, and I definitely look forward to my next visit. Hopefully, it'll be sooner than later. I hope we can make that happen.
yep, for sure. Well, I know you're out there in California, Uncle Joe. I appreciate you. Everybody, if you are looking for something, some kind of training to check out, like I said, Uncle Joe is a legend. I mean, and that's just the truth. I'm not saying that because he's here. Everybody who talks about any kind of training when it comes in the HVAC game, you will hear Uncle Joe's name come up 100% of the time. And uh, if you have a company, go ask your boss about training, and I guarantee you that his name is one of the names that comes up. And if he doesn't, find a new job because I question your boss. Just kidding. But yeah. All right. Thank you, Uncle Joe. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to end this out. I will click over to this one real fast, or is it that one? Guys, thank you. Sorry about the mix up this week. Like I said, birthday thing kind of threw a monkey wrench. Um, I'm just kind of kind of overwhelmed right now because, like I said, when I watch all these YouTube videos and meet different people, and you finally get to meet somebody that you look up to, like Uncle Joe, it's really awesome to be able to have him on my show. And I felt like I should have asked different questions. Kind of nervous about the opportunity, but I'm really happy that he came on. That he came on here, and any of you guys out there looking for honest, quality training to be led the right way, then look no further. This is the man to do it, and You know how I can get in contact with you. Yeah, Kraus, you can here, I'll give you a number real fast, buddy. Sorry. You said you don't have Facebook. Do this, buddy. Email me at hvacuncensored@gmail.com and I'll give you my number, bud, and then you can message me or call me personally. All right? And the only reason I don't give my personal number out is because I'm not a trainer, and I just, even the podcast phone, I get all kind of goofy numbers, messages sometime. So if you can, Kraus, email me, hvacuncensored@gmail.com, and I will message you my cell phone number back because I know you're local and we can get together. So thank you, everybody, for watching this. Please remember, well, and secondly, thank all of you that reached out for happy birthdays and stuff. Like, that really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do that. I can't thank you enough. But guys, remember, be safe out there. You know what I mean? We all got somebody to make it home to. Make it home the same way you left. Take your time, be smart, and do the little things. Set yourself apart. I want each and every one of you to be successful out there. All right? I want you to make a good living. I want you to have time with your family, and I want you. I'm in you interrupted me, but Baltimore, Maryland. I'm outside of Baltimore, so I know Kraus is a Maryland guy. That's why I said that. I'm gonna, just so you guys know, real fast before I get back to closing this out, I'm gonna do a live stream this weekend because I know when I get a guest on here and we're interacting, I don't get to pay attention to the chat that much. So maybe sometime Saturday ish, I'll try to put it out. I'm gonna do a live stream where it'll just be me, just sitting there bullshitting with you guys. We can talk. People can call on. I mean, they can call in on the Titan text line, brought to you by Yellow Jacket. Sorry, sponsors pay for that. I gotta say that every time. You can call in, talk BS, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, we'll do that. But be safe, guys. I love you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next week, I will talk at you mofos later, all right? Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors